O Knights é um time muito bom, tenho amigos lá dentro, tenho muito carinho por eles.
Es un rival difícil, tiene su práctica, su desarrollo de juego importante.
Eles estão preparados, mas a gente está também.
Vamos a revisar bien qué es lo que hacen ellos, ver qué podemos adaptar nosotros.
Vai ser uma briga de mente aí dentro desse servidor.
Hay marea alta y Shokta lo va a gastar. Mirá, Nemo, cómo tapea,
M80 é o time favorito, entre aspas, do campeonato. Eu acho que a gente tem que focar mais no nosso jogo.
I think the difference is, like, we all have a overall, like, better skilled team in my opinion, and that goes for any team in the tournament.
E a gente tem potencial sim para vencer o M80 e os times seguintes.
I think Sato's a pretty good player. He's a very nice kid. He has a very bright future. He's still a level below me, and I think he's about to feel it when we face it tomorrow.
With 3 days of tournament play out of the way, it seems as though the field hasn't narrowed one bit. We've seen competitive match after competitive match between regions, with 2 games securing a 2-1 victory over TSM yesterday. Oretta, despite currently holding a 1-2 record in the group, now look highly competitive, beating TSM and taking a map off of M80 in yesterday's matchup. Today's matches should tell us a lot about who's ahead of the pack, as 2Game, M80 and All Knights, arguably the best performers in the group stage thus far, will all be in action. 2Game and M80 both have a chance to secure a 3-0 group stage record, greatly increasing their odds to make the playoffs. The team with the most pressure on them today, though, is no doubt Valores. Despite being the 1 seed of Brazil, they have fallen to 0-2 in the group stage already. It's an extremely tough position to be in, as they still have M80, 2Game and Oretta to play. If they want the best odds to make the playoffs, winning out and finishing 3-2 is crucial. There's still a lot of tournament left to be played, and it's likely some teams are still adjusting, but one thing is for certain though, it's not safe to rule out any team just yet.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 4 of VCT Ascension. We've seen teams fight to make it to the top and we're still right in the middle of the tournament. Anything can happen in this group stage. I'm going to be your host for today, Dryad, and today I have a very nice, smart, talented, beautiful analyst desk. Joining me is Gompers and Sterivan. And how are you two doing? Because Sterivan, we got the chance to talk yesterday. You were here on the analyst desk. Gompers, how are you feeling? But also, how are you seeing the tournament shape out so far?
I mean, so far with the tournament, it's been really good. I've been surprised by a lot of the outcomes. I mean, All Knights almost kind of running away with the win against M80, things like that, right? Where the team that's the top dog is kind of being challenged in a very uncomfortable way. So I think so far this is probably the best Ascension we could have gotten for sure.
It is shaping up to be really good. It's been so competitive. Even the teams that haven't been able to get the win, Sterivan, you get to see them fight until the very end, and you see those individual pieces, those individual players, still getting the chance to shine.
Yeah, even though the teams that lost yesterday, they look so good though. Like, they're really pushing the enemy team to like go towards the full distance. Like, we've had games that were really close, like the TSM versus 2G game. It was like 11-13, 13-11, 9-13. Like, those score lines are so close. And even with the M80 versus Retta game, even though the first map was kind of one-sided, the next 2 maps were really close and was head-to-head for sure.
A lot of back and forth between the two, but let's check out the standings. Let's see who are the teams that are still continuing to be at the top and the teams that are maybe at the bottom trying to get those wins right now. And as we get to see it right now, Gompers, this 2Game team that we're going to be seeing first, getting the 2-0 just along with M80, and then at the bottom, the only team that hasn't been able to get the win just yet is Valores.
Yeah, no, it's been difficult for Valores for sure. But overall, like, this is the outcome. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting the 2Game esports outcome. I'm quite surprised how well this team has been doing, kind of moving forward. I mean, this is a super strong team regardless, right? But when you're looking at the competition, I guess the teams that 2Game has had to play against before, the TSM, it was definitely a strong game. I definitely did think 2Game was going to run away with that one. But all the while, like, against Retta's a super, super strong team that I genuinely, I couldn't believe had lost. So for me, it felt like the pick'ems that I had, put ahead of myself are definitely getting destroyed right now. But overall, it's okay. I respect the fact that 2Game did not come to play.
I have to say something about that, Gompers. I'm calling you out because I've seen your predictions, and there's so many that I'm like, what is Gompers?
Hold on, I was right though. I was right though. All right.
Here we about which one?
Here
of the like 20.
Listen,
it's fine.
Listen,
it's fine.
Some of them were misclicks. Hear me out. Some of them, some of them, all right, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, these are the matches that we're gonna be having today. It's All Knights going against 2Game, and then we're gonna have Colores going against M80. And just in a second, we're going to get the chance to see those predictions for today again. But, Serbian, we talked about it yesterday. We were very excited about this match, and now we got the chance to rest and see, and now I'm even more excited. Let's check it out. Okay, Gumpers.
Hear me out. I'm going to, listen, it was a misclick, but now I have to stick it through.
There's no way it's a misclick. You play Valorant.
Hear me out.
You're like a pretty high rank, aren't you?
I genuinely meant to click M80, but you know what, Colores, you have my vote now because I'm committed. I'm committed to it.
Do you believe what she's saying, Sarah?
You know what? Let's just hop on the train that Gompers just really loves the underdog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think she's just being shy about her pickup. You know, it's a little different.
She was like, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be different.
Right.
Nobody's gonna be expecting this. But honestly,
you want to hear the truth? It has a G, and I love that because I'm Gompers. So like,
okay.
That's
You know, I get that because teams that started with a D, I'm like, that was really nice next to my name. No, I get it. No, but honestly, if Galores were to get this win, you would be a genius. So we're gonna find out if that's gonna be the case. Honestly though, we talked about Galores. They haven't been able to get a win, but they've been looking really good. They've just been really unlucky, and it feels like Seriban in a lot of those games, the nerves really get to them, and that's why they haven't been able to close it out.
Yeah, if you look at like Galores' games, like it's not like they're getting like absolutely stomped. I think it really just comes down to like those little moments, or maybe just being on the stage is still kind of like a newer experience for them. They're just like really gonna heat up towards the end.
Well, let's find out how the teams are feeling for today. Let's check out these videos of the players.
Eu acho que a gente está indo bem, mas a gente tem que manter o pé no chão ainda. A gente tem que pensar muito sobre cada jogo, como cada time joga. Eu acho que o que rola mais é a adaptação. O Knights é um time muito bom, tenho amigos lá dentro, tenho muito carinho por eles. A gente já treinou bastante, é um time que evoluiu muito durante o campeonato deles. Eles estão preparados, mas a gente está também. Então vai ser um jogão. Ele é meu amigo, eu acho ele um cara que também evoluiu muito dentro do time dele. A gente compactua de algumas ideias, inclusive de composições de mapa. Então eu acho que a gente pensa um pouco parecido dentro de jogo. Então vai ser uma briga de mente aí dentro desse servidor.
Sabíamos que Match era difícil. Nosotros tomamos el desafío de ver cómo eran efectivamente, si eran como el resto decía. La verdad que muy bien, estamos conformes. Es un rival difícil, tiene su práctica, su desarrollo de juego importante. La preparación de nosotros es como cualquier equipo. Vamos a revisar bien qué es lo que hacen ellos, ver qué podemos adaptar nosotros, entender qué es lo que buscan con las cosas que hacen. Abordar los problemas, como cosas que uno puede solucionar. Esto la verdad es que funciona así. El que pierde y aprende de perder, termina ganando.
Well, we got to hear a little bit of what the players had to say about their previous matches and their upcoming matches, but let's dive into our first match of the day. That's going to be 2Game going against All Knights. And this is a match that is very exciting just because of the way that they've been shaping out. Seriban, both of the teams have been insane in surprising us, honestly, with their capabilities and how close these matches have been for them.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this first match here because they both look so good. And honestly, I'm really excited to see like the duelist matchup as well. Like everyone's just looking so insane. Like even though AK lost to M80, they really like pushed M80 and like to the distance. They took both maps into OT, and they also won 2-0 against Galores. And then you have 2Game on the other side who beat Reta 2-0 and beat TSM 2-1. And they've just been playing so out of their mind.
The 2Game that is turning slowly into one of the favorites in this tournament so far. And we're not going to find out who's going to be the best, at least so far, until we see them going against that last match against M80. But so far, they look really good, Gompers, and I'd love to see this because it's a team that has, as I said before, surprises with what they have, with the individual pieces as well, and also with the energy that they bring.
Dude, yeah, like coming into it, I feel like the games that we saw, yesterday against TSM and previously, in my opinion, it feels like two-game, like, I mean, it speaks for itself. They're on their game. Like, they are the game esports. They have played spectacularly. And we did talk about, like, the duelist, you know, you bringing that up, Starry Bun. I have to agree, and I think we'll get to that soon, but for me, there's two people in particular that I have in mind that really do bring this team to the top.
Okay, well, we're gonna find out, because one of the guys to talk about for sure is Zap. This guy, I mean, he deserves not only a minute but a few minutes to talk about him, because have you guys seen the energy that he's bringing? He's standing up, he's yelling at the other team. He's getting excited more than anybody else, and I love that because this is something that he said in the interview. He said, I am being what my team needs me to be, and that means being the hype man, being the guy that is getting excited, that is jumping up. And Sariban, we don't have this very often, especially to this level, right? We have guys that are standing up, that are getting hyped up, but to this level, I feel like he's crossing all the lines.
Honestly, I love the energy that Zap brings, because not only is he the IGL, but he's also the hype man. And I feel like for every team, there always needs to be one designated hype man. Someone to control the vibes outside of the game, someone to make sure the mental is good, the vibes are great. And the fact that he's not only in charge of the outside mental, but also the in-game stuff, that's honestly just insane to me. Like, you can really tell that he really, like, cares for his team, and he's such a good leader.
And it comes with being a leader, it comes also having that responsibility of the emotional aspect of your team, which is why we're highlighting this guy so much, because we've already talked about the duelists, we've talked about everybody else, but just the energy that the team sometimes need, it's something that is not easy to get on. So I love to see Zap standing up. I was asking the Latin American talent what he's saying, because every time that we see those clips, he's muted, and he's saying a lot of things, but among the many things that he's saying to the other side, he's saying, like, I'm your father, I'm the best, I'm owning you, among other things.
Honestly, that does boost the energy just a bit. If I heard that, I'd definitely be like, yeah, let's play this game. No, but it's crazy too, because I think we talked about it a little bit before we even went live. Like, it looks so fun, and it looks, I mean, it is a very tense moment to be here in this moment to, okay, now we have to qualify for VCT Americas, et cetera, et cetera. This is what the stakes are. But at the same time, to have a teammate like that, that's willing to get their hands a little dirty, right? And talk their talk, but also keep that confidence, it really does boost the morale.
And let's talk about the other side, because they have a lot of reasons to be confident. This all-night squad, a team that was a little bit underestimated coming into this Ascension, and they have proven everybody wrong. They are insane. I mean, every single one of these players, they've had their amazing moments against M80, and just as we got to see them yesterday, but it's going to continue because yeah, sure. I mean, we're going to talk about Dante Deus in a second, but the whole team is working out together. And this is something that Nico Machine, one of the players, says. Let me see. The translation, it's pretty much hinting at, hey guys, you need to be on our side. You need to be believing in us, Gumpers, because we're going to win the whole thing. That's what he wants to say at the end, but he won't say.
They don't have to say it. I feel like their gameplay speaks for itself. For All Nights, yeah, they kind of fumbled the bag a little bit against M80 down in that 1v1 that they had. But in my opinion, it was super, super close. And for me, a team that can possibly beat the top dogs, beat the favorited team throughout this whole entire thing, it could honestly be them. And for me, All Nights, they've shown the correct attitude towards it, right? They're not upset they lost. They're grateful that they could learn from the experience. And I think with that attitude moving forward, it really does show. This is a winner's mentality. And for me, All Nights have it.
Which is what they said after that match against M80. They said it was really close, and yeah, sure, we lost, but we're feeling really good about ourselves, which is how they should be feeling, because it was a very close match against the favorite team to win the whole tournament. So it gives them that notion that maybe on a rematch things could be different. Maybe with a little bit more experience on the stage, things could be different, and even closing out those maps that they've been trying to do so terrible. But can we talk about Dante Deos?
Dante Deos honestly has been so impressive. I really love seeing these duelist players like come alive, especially with like Neon meta being so strong. He's such a pivotal key player for them. Like the fact that he has so many first blood engagements, and look at the ACS, 354 ACS is actually crazy with a 39.6% first blood. He really just opens up the rounds for them. And the most thing that I find like very impressive about Dante is the fact that like he's not like a run it down Neon, like he is, but he's always with the team. Like he's always playing off the utility, and he doesn't like tremendously overheat, which is also a very common player faults that you find in a lot of Neon players, is that you have the ability to overheat, but Dante keeps his cool, calm, collected, and he like gets those pivotal kills. It's amazing to see him perform.
He is genuinely like a duelist you want to watch out for. And it's not because of, you know, maybe the first bloods or whatever. Yes, the first bloods are guaranteed when it comes to Dante, but it's not just that. It's the fact that that first blood is for a reason. This team is very calculated, right? They're always correct with the moves they want to play. And Dante knows, I'm probably going to die here, but this is the plan all along. And no matter what, I have the team. I have them, you know, in my hands. And this is my duty to protect and to serve, honestly. And I think Dante does such a good job at keeping that confidence and that resolve, regardless of what the outcome's going to be, whether or not they sit down for the whole round and watch the game, or if they're just there throughout the whole entirety, because that's the plan. And that's why you have to watch out for all nights. It's not accidental. They know what they're doing.
He's also making these decisions where you're watching and he's like, wait, don't go there. Wait, stop, we're gonna die. And he goes in and gets one kill, gets a second kill, gets a third one in a way that looks insane. You're just like, how did he get this kill? And this is exactly what we want to see from the up-and-coming duelist. I mean, just a reminder for everybody watching, this guy is 17. Everybody's saying, like, pick him up. For teams, he can't even go to VCT Tier 1 next year for getting picked up because he's underage. Who else is able to do that right now? I mean, and honestly, we have such an amazing matchup because of these three guys, Terrybun. We get to see Dante Deos, but we've also seen Spike, and we've also seen Silence popping off throughout this tournament. And these are, as I said before, the up-and-comers for what is going to be the future of South American Valorant.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this duelist matchup versus Dante and like Spike and Silence, because both teams have players with such high first blood engagements to really open up the rounds for their team. And you have on one side Dante, which is just a crazy, insane player and really great at that Neon. And then the other side, you have Spike and Silence. You have 2G has two talented players who can frag and play different duelists. And I feel like that's such a huge threat because you don't know what you're going to expect. And the best thing about these duelists for Spike and Silence is that they can play any duelist. Like one guy plays Yoru, the other guy plays Jet, Raze. Like this duelist matchup is going to be a spicy one for sure.
I think it's so interesting too how they can just occasionally flex, like, you know, hey Spike, you're kind of feeling it on Bind going, Sunset going Neon, let's throw you on that, or okay Silence, you know, it's your turn, let's see some Rays on Bind. And it's super nice because like you said, it's always the top frag. They're always the top frag. Like you can rely on these two to really bring the team together. And I like it. I like the fact that they're so comfortable, not even just with one another, but with the whole team to make those changes and adjustments that it really does show in their performance.
This is going to be a really cool matchup because even though you look at the history of these two teams and you see that they haven't really played against each other, because they were in South America, in Latin America, and Brazil, they played in scrims with each other a lot. And this is something that Zap was saying yesterday during his interview. He said he has a lot of love for the side of All Knights and how those guys are going to perform as well. There's a lot of respect between the two. So this map select is very important to them for that reason, Starybun, because they know each other so well, practicing and trying to make it to this instance, that now you have to play the mental games to see how you get the upper hand.
Yeah, I love that they have like familiarity, like playing each other, because it just means that it's just going to be like that much better because they're so used to each other and they're so used to each other's play styles. It definitely is going to be like a mental warfare. And coming into like the map vetoes, I do have my predictions.
Okay.
AKA
let's go.
veto Ice Fox, so I'm not going to reveal that. But I think 2GE will ban Haven. And then I think AK will end up picking Lotus. I feel like 2GE will pick Bind. And I feel like the last map is going to be maybe... Oh, it's going to be a hard one. I don't think it's going to be Lotus. Or not Lotus. Abyss for the last map. And that's my predictions. Okay, Sunset.
It's looking good.
She's been doing this, by the way. She's just cooking before the matches, trying to guess what the maps are gonna be.
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard. We talked about it. It's hard because you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know exactly what maps they were scrimming against each other as well. So there's a couple things to take into account, Gompers. But as you see this shape up with Sunset and Abyss, what do you make of this?
The Sunset, I really do like. I feel like it's a good start, just because also this is where we do kind of get to see like the differential between, and Bind is great too, because we do get to see the differential between the duelists, right? The two duelist roles that we have on the side of 2 games. So this is exciting for me. Like, we get to see a Neon on Sunset, which is the possibility. On Bind, we do get to see that Raze coming out, from the opposite player. So obviously, I believe it's Spike and Silence. So
yeah, 2
of them that do get to kind of feel out the territory against a team that they have yet to play against. So this is fun.
Starry, now we have the maps Sunset, Abyss, and Bind for last. It's we said it's a little hard to predict depending on how much they know each other. Do you think this map pool gives the upper hand to one of the team or the other?
I don't know. I feel like All Knights definitely has like a very, very strong map pool. I feel like there's only one map they don't like usually love to play, and that's like Abyss. But they obviously kept it around and floated it. So I'm pretty sure they have something really good prepared for it. And for 2 game, obviously, like, I think this is like a good matchup. I think it'll be really fun. I think they're going to be like equal. I can't tell who's going to win. I feel like it's going to be really close games.
Well, that was their Zippo agent or map select, and now we have the chance to talk a little bit more about it. And I want to ask you, Gompers, when you're seeing Dante Deos perform to this level, you're seeing not only the Latin America guys and the team and the staff, everybody that knows about him, talk about him, but you're seeing everybody in the world, in Americas and in the world in general, talking about this guy. Do you think that adds that extra pressure for him to continue to perform and maybe play a little bit against them for these upcoming matches?
I think, I think in the heat of the moment, if Dante isn't performing well, it could definitely apply a lot of pressure. I think right now it's definitely an ego boost, and for Dante to feel pressure in the first place when he plays like that is going to be very rare, just because it's like, it's a guaranteed first pick. And so far it's been good. Dante's getting a pretty large amount of attention, and with that being said, I mean, I feel like anyone would feel good going into the next matchup the next day, and knowing that they have such a large crowd rooting for them. So all in all, I definitely, it's very situational, but I think for now it might actually help him perform a little better and more confidently.
I feel like he's fired up. I'm seeing this guy reply to everybody in the Latin American community. Everybody's tweeting at him. Everybody's saying it was King, Kesnet, Shy, Melser, every single one of these guys trying to let him know and hype him up because he's been doing so good. And a lot of people were saying, just like me, that he's the future of Latin America. And it's the same way on the other side, Sarabun. You have these guys like Silence and Spike that look so good, and they're also the future for this whole region, for this whole country, which is why you want to set them up for success, not only in the game, but also making sure that they know that the whole country, the whole region is with them.
Yeah, for these like young up-and-coming players who are really showing off like their duelist skills, I'm pretty sure they feel like a tremendous pressure. So I think it's really important for like the community to support them, for their own teammates to support them, because they are the up-and-coming talent. And they've honestly, Dante, Silence, and Spike, they've been playing really consistently so far. And they've been just like really outshining themselves in the roles that they've been given. Like, they've been really creating the space, even when their teammates, are kind of falling behind, they're closing that gap for them. And I think the role that they play is just so important, and they've been thriving so far in it.
thriving is going to be the key as well for today when we're talking about this match being so close. And just so you guys know, it seems like things are almost ready so we can start. But before we start, just a reminder for you guys that there's a giveaway for Blacklight. If you want to get one of those gaming chairs from Blacklight, there's going to be a pinned message in the Twitch chat. So you can find out how you can get that chair. As I've been saying, it's a really nice chair, so you absolutely want to do it. And you can also scan the QR code to know a little bit more information about how you can get it. And so yeah, you can be comfortable, you can be playing, you can be watching all these matches, all these amazing tournaments that we have in Ascension. So we're about to get ready. Gumpers, any final thoughts on these teams before we get to see the Agents League coming on Sunset?
I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what's cooking. I'm excited to finally see the duelist takeover. 3 duelists, guys, in 2 teams. This is insane.
Yes, yes. And now we get the chance to see the walkouts. The players now having a little bit more experience. They've already got the chance to see what the stage feels like, how it sounds like, how it feels like as well. So coming back onto it, trying to get the wins, as in all nights are 1-1 right now, and a 2 game that are 2-0 so far. Saribun, are we expecting, if I'm putting expectations here, I'm expecting a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of energy throughout this whole series.
I honestly would not expect anything less. I honestly really hope to see Zap get fired up again. And because these 2 teams are very familiar with each other, I'm hoping All Nights also fires back with that same level of passion and energy. Like, I'm so excited. I really love a good LAN environment where everyone is just yelling at each other and like, talking their talk. It's just so great to be there. Like, the vibes are high, the vibes are good. We love that.
We love to see that, and it's gonna be like that. I mean, hey, All Nights, maybe this tournament we haven't seen them standing up and screaming as much, but in Latin America and Challengers, they were standing up, Gumpers. They were yelling, they were getting hyped up, and especially when you're going against your friends on the other side, when you're going against your friends in 2 game, now you have even more reason to yell and get excited.
No, it's like almost friendly banter at the same time, but also mental game. Like you gotta have some sort of spunk right to your game, and if that really does keep the energy going and the energy flowing through the team, sometimes saying something here and there really does help, and honestly might help diminish the mental game of the other people too. Because if I was getting yelled at, I'm a little sensitive. I'd be like, dang, maybe I do suck. I don't know. But it all in all, it's fun. It's energetic. The energy, you could just feel it radiating through the screen. And I think that's why I love, honestly, VCT so much is like, even when you're not there, you feel like you are.
There's some players where you're yelling at them and they might be feeling like, it does get to them. But there's some that get even more fired up. So I feel like it's going to be that case for both of the teams today, for every single one of the 10 players that we have on the screen. But it's time that we get to see the Blacklight Agents Select. Let's find out what the teams are going to be running on this map of Sunset. And right away, the 2 duelists that we've talked about. Technically, we have 3 duelists on this matchup, but only 2 that we're going to be seeing on Sunset. It's going to be Dantadeus on the Neon, Starybun, and it's going to be Spike on that Neon too.
Honestly, we've expected these comps. They've shown these comps before, so I'm really excited that, we see a mirror comp matchup. Like, this is actually, like, the best it gets. Like, we can really see this duelist matchup, both Neon versus Neon, with, like, the exact same comp. So I'm excited to see, like, what each team is going to bring to the table. If they're going to surprise each other with, like, maybe new strats, maybe new calls. We'll see.
I think I like, too, like, the chaoticness of having the Neon and the Breach on both sides. Like, this is where it really does start to become more of that eruption that I love, that I'm really looking for in this game of Sunset.
I love these head-to-heads that we continue to see with the 2 Neons on Sunset, something that we've seen a lot more in Ascension rather than any other tournament. Adverso there feeling confident, giving a wink to the camera, and this is one of the guys that you need to keep up and keep your eyes on, because he's going to be standing up and screaming just like Sab. The 2 IGLs feeling really good. Now it's time that we send it to the match, and to our casters is Shipped and Wyatt.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Wyatt, this is going to be fast and furious. I think anyone who's been watching knows that. Mirror compositions, though. So, I mean, whenever I see one of these, I always label it as one particular thing. Efficiency. Who plays the comp better is probably going to win the map.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, I'm expecting, even if this goes to overtime, probably a sub 15-minute game. Both these teams, they just slam sights. I mean, watch me say that, and suddenly we're going to have the most monotonous default heavy attack sides from these guys, but from what we've seen so far, it's just all go. And 15 seconds into the round, we're hitting B pretty fast.
Ooh, good shockwave coming through at least to get a little bit of damage on the way. Tinkoff able to at least hold on for a little while longer. 1-for-1 goes the initial trade. Spike will be planted. Post plant set up towards main, but there is a flank on the way, so some curiosity in terms of how 2Game are going to deal with this.
Yeah, super important when you're retaking B that you have someone pressuring towards main, but actually Sabato's going to fall off, and it's a re-wrap from Zap. He might catch a fantastic timing.
Well, 2G sitting off of just one player inside the start cover around the back. Hold on a second. They have absolutely no idea. And oh, how about it? They kind of line up all of a sudden, just down to one more player inside the site. But interestingly enough, the fight from the front is good for the side of All Knights, leaving it just down to Zap. Fault line, not quite able to connect on towards the Neon. Right click is good, plus the follow-up. And how about some fireworks early?
You think round one, is he already going to be standing up? Is he going to be doing the Boostio cosplay, bringing us that honest to God mid-2000s LAN center energy? Like he's playing Source. Zap is a joy to watch so far in this tournament. Was in a tough spot there as well. I mentioned that re-wrap he was going for from B main towards Market, but when Sabando fell off his flank attempt, he closed the door. So it's possible, and he is on 2 feet, it's possible that Zap would not have been able to get there in time, but was able to. So big credit to the Breach already on round one, who also a player that was finding a lot of impact yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And pistol wins is no strange occurrence for the side of 2G. 60% wins so far in their first couple of matches. So holding on to that metric, at least for now. They'll jump into a pretty aggressive buy here. You've got a Vandal, a Bulldog, and a Guardian. So this is going to be a pretty hefty quote-unquote anti-eco just against the Classics.
They'll be running into this stack as well. Verso ready with the fault line, and that does connect onto Spikes, but that wall going to keep him safe for now. Retreat into B main. Subando on the long flank again. You can see him in the attacker's spawn.
Oh, and he's going to hear all of this. This is great information. He even gets the right click. That's the Spike now down. Can't quite find the weapon to pick up to make himself a little bit more fighting friendly, but still, the damage had been dealt. Doesn't make a difference because Silence at range with the Ghost is able to tally 2. So Spike will be collected, and with the numbers, it'll be all of a sudden 2Game all over the B site.
Yeah, Silence pretty much always buys a Ghost on this map. Oh my God, Dante in. This Neon head-to-head is just going to be so fun to watch. Both of these guys are just insane. Both of them have only played around 30 matches in competitive history as well, with more than 2/3 of them being this year. They are really new to the scene. Both of them on their first, like, legit contending team.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to watch, just these ranked demons making a name for themselves in the regions that we just don't get to see as much of.
Yeah, very true. Tinkoff does well to at least catch one more elimination, makes this upcoming bonus going to be, I would say, pretty limited, you would think, for 2G. Yeah, they get all 5 eliminations, plus, of course, they get the Spike down, but that was a hefty buy coming into the anti-eco, so should be an opportunity going to round 3 for All Knights to treat themselves on the board.
Yeah, they'll just going to be buying, ensuring they get the full on the next. Silence with a bit of cash. He always, Silence just carries over the Ghost into round 2 when he's playing Cypher here. And pretty much 100% of the time I've seen him, he's always trying to take long-range duels in mid like he did there.
Yeah.
Got a nice 1 for 2. And here we go. It's due to that. Silence is the other man with a rifle. So could be the hero.
Everything else is going to be on the upgraded pistols. Very passive setup here for All Knights. With a stack at tiles, there could be some threat through mid. Ping does come through, though. That is from Nico on the defense, so he's very aware that he could be threatened. Aldrone doesn't really actually get through the smoke, though, so he doesn't really see too much. The defense will have to hold their ground for now.
One way is going to go down towards A. Subando throwing that out, just to be able to watch that angle fully. Cross has even tried to dodge the drone, but does just get spotted. Fault lined as well on the retreat. Knows that it's so possible. That Spike was just going to be right up in his face. But it looks like they just want to go back to B, where Silence has been containing, holding that ground in main.
How much has Zap heard here? Oh, it doesn't matter. He's been tagged. But whoa, hold on a second. Dante trying to throw out the relay, but almost gets caught. Nico there for support, though, does supply the elimination. So now it's just down to what happens from the front for 2Game. on the way in towards this site, but a lot of clearance going to be required here. And as they push through the dark cover, Luis will fall, and the follow-up from AK, absolutely perfect. A flawless round, blacklight flawless round at that, for All Knights to get on the board for the first time.
Yeah, timing there just a bit off. LZ was the first one to swing out of the dark cover, like you mentioned. If he had waited for these teammates right in that moment to actually pressure past stairs, divert the attention, he might have been able to get at least a free kill shooting someone in the back. So the timing's just a little bit off on that one. Not a huge deal, though, for All Knights. Wasn't their full buy. This is going to be.
And this is one of the statistical categories that I think will be the difference maker in this particular matchup. Both these two teams rank 1 and 2 when they are on full purchase versus their opponents in full purchase. 61% win rate for 2Game, 58% win rate for All Knights. So a lot of success for both these two teams. So figure that these rounds like this are going to be the difference maker, especially in this opening map, which, again, doesn't really favor either team fully, you feel like, especially off of recent results.
2G, yet again, taking B main. We have not gone A one time yet. Spike is in really quick, but gets caught.
They found my wire.
Really good shots from Dante on the cross. This doesn't now allow him to get in towards market. Luis trying to put the plant down, has backed off it for a moment, seeing if they maybe can force the hand of AK to jump in and contest. Won't happen. Paranoia fault line already spent. A lot of offensive utility already done and dusted. Now it's just down to how Dante can move his way in. And ooh, nice moment from Silence to catch one while stunned, but it's Tinkoff on the flip side to turn it around, and that's enough for Knights to get the retake.
Wow, massive credit to Tinkoff. They're cleaning everybody up at the end. 2G played that post plant pretty nicely, supporting Zap, who was just stunned up by the fault line, stunned up by the relay bolt. Dove upon by Dante back sight. You know, and then Silence swings out from stairs. Perfect timing. Really just Tinkoff being the hero. Not always the hero for their squad, but has his moments.
It's a good one there. Add it to the mix. And like you said, it's not just the, you know, I think the thing we need to pay attention here, and as we see, especially these two cutthroat teams go at one another, is where that style of aggression starts to come through. And that last round right there, I mean, like we kind of mentioned for a very brief moment, offense gets on, tries to get a plant, but also tries to maybe bait out to see if All Knights will try to contest the spike plant. Doesn't happen, and then they're empty from utility. So it's all in all the time when it comes to how these two teams like to play aggressively.
Go, go, go.
Spikes off that flash from Zap, just trying to take some space as the Stinger wants to close the distance. Maybe find a cheeky first kill, just abusing the movement of the buff to Neon.
Oh, the offense is going to take their time, see if they can catch a pick somewhere. Defender's not going to allow for it. Aldrone gets paranoid. Fault line to follow. Good separation, though the defense will stay safe inside of elbow, plus a little bit of a push forward from Reverso, just to make sure the cross is handled. But hold on a second. Luis just walks into market. No one's watching, and in the same breath, Prize finds another over towards A. How has this happened?
That was just Nico Machine not checking to the left with the drone. Tiny mistake, but as is always the case in Valorant, the smallest of mistakes can have the largest of impact. That was Tinkoff being forced to watch B main during that moment as well. Someone could have been walking in.
30 seconds left.
Listen, I've seen Dante make some magic happen, but I don't think it's going to be this time.
Oh gosh.
Well, maybe I spoke too soon.
Crazy fight. Oh, trying to break the camera just over the top. Not going to happen. And how about the Blacklight Thrifty from 2Game Esports? Whoa, that changes things completely after All Knights looked pretty convincing in their first two defensive round wins.
Yeah, it's just all Z catching that, all LZ, excuse me, catching the timing there with the Sheriff, of course. But 2G, even prior to that, and kind of just a few seconds before that moment, we're doing a really nice job working the map and causing some disarray for the defenders. That's why Nico Machine felt forced to use the drone. There was a smoke placed top right mid, so it kind of made it seem like maybe 2G are going for a split into B where they're going to wrap all the way top through Boba. And then Nico just felt pressure to use that drone, completely caught out. And 2G snatched that momentum away. In a round where they've got some ults to play with.
Another important round right here, especially with the ultimates on table for 2G in particular. You don't imagine that Dante is going to find much of a chance to pop up the finger guns here unless things start to get messy over towards A, which he is leaning towards at the moment. Dark cover plays deep in towards mid. That's enough for LZ to try to work his way over, and he has, I think, seen a shoulder. So fault line out. He's got to hold his ground here. Good aftershock behind this. Good isolation overall. Tinkoff will find the first pick.
Nicely done. Hunter Sphere going to be launched by Prize. Does get a late connection, and off the distraction. Silence is working. What to be? Sick wallbang.
And now the neural theft, and Dante can't slide away from that. Silence for 3 in the round. Again, these two ciphers have been massive in swinging rounds for their squads. And this time, Savando just tried to find some sort of an off-angle peaking timing. Not going to work out. And Adverso, a decision to make here in the 1 versus 3. And it looks like he will give us his intentions, which is there will be no intentions towards actually putting that together.
And listen, for as good as 2G look right now on the attack, I'm going to be honest, I think even if they close out this half 10-2, All Knights could run it all the way back on the side swap. I mean, both of these teams on attack are just lethal. They are ruthless with the aggression.
Crazy scenes. But, once again, it's our ciphers coming to bat in a major way. Silence completely dominates over the A site. The neural theft, a big difference maker towards putting a little distraction over towards B as well. Everything just working out really nicely. So 4-2 the count. Difficult financial moment going to be coming up here for All Knights, especially considering the fact that this round, you thought off the first isolated pick, was likely going to lean towards the favor of All Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. 2G are playing these rounds very nicely in terms of just getting space for their lurking players. Silence has really been able to find that value in B main, has been controlling it round after round entirely for free. You know, they're letting Silence just get that early space in B main. They set him up there and then work elsewhere. This time, though, it is just fast A, mixing in a full, speed round.
Well, finger gun's gonna come through. Nobody checks the corner that Spikes is able to hold on to. There's a late ping that comes out. Nico able to turn that into one trade, but Sabando's next in line. He is completely isolated, and the quick focus from 2G has our heads spinning right now as they find the final elimination and get their 5th round.
Okay, this is going to be the fastest game of all time. All Knights really just want to flood in there, catch some kind of timing where 2G will be unprepared to fight for the push through that smoke, but Spike just saw that coming, and I'm not sure if Adverso sent out a flash when they were trying to push back in, or if he did, it was just too high, so Spike wasn't blinded at all. Just all too easy.
Wow. I mean, it's one thing to watch it, it's another to watch it and have to try to put words over the top of it. It really is as fast as we've seen. And I think the interesting thing about it here for All Knights, especially from the defensive side, you know, do we have to gut check, immediately respond as soon as we start to deal with offensive utility of, you know, from the hands of 2G? Can we take a little bit of extra time, make sure we're set up, make sure we're clearing these extra little bit of angles? Because let's be honest, 3 of the 5 rounds have been won because 2G have just broke a timing somewhere or just went unchecked completely.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to cough my brains out. I tried to turn my mic off really quick during the attack pause. Oh my god. Yep, took a sip of water and that went straight into my lungs. I love that for me when I'm casting.
I love that.
Anyway, we are good to go. All Knights are. I want to see if they're going to try to do something more proactive towards B on one of these rounds to catch out even just Silence if he's alone, you know? Set up some kind of trap play maybe with the camera, because Silence has been very proactive. He has been rounding the corner where you could see him from main, right? So a little Cypher cam kind of trap play set up. They're actually doing just that right now. They have the cam to take contact, and then maybe a relay bolt will come out from Dante. He'll slide in.
Well, thought about it. Still holding aggressively on the front side of the site. Just may come down to, like you mentioned, if there's going to be any contact made off of this cam position. And, well, the relay bolt is still being held on to. Rolling Thunder also, I would say, ready to go. That's going to be used to clear out market, and that's the next source of entry here for 2Game, who are getting their way over, but not fully on site yet. And hold on a second, here come All Knights trying to find some sort of recuperation on the market from behind, but they've lost the site, and 2G will hold the front doors down.
And it looks like 2G want to exploit all the presence in market and the lack of it in Boba. Triple man wrap right now.
Love it.
To fight towards stairs.
Just really good decision making, and Spikes able to find 2, zapping them away. just complete entrapment, and you called it perfectly, Wyatt. It's just the simple fact that 2Game got the read that, yep, no one's over towards Boa. They tried to heavy hit towards Market, and now there's really no way that All Knights can find a way to try to get back in and contest.
Yeah, that is just a lovely, decisive response right there. The remaining players on All Knights desperate to save these guns. Economy in a pretty tough spot. Adversity all this movement going to get a free one. Doesn't affect the economy of 2G at all. Able to collect all three. I mean, listen, he'll take it.
Something,
but
yep.
Doesn't really help all too much in this situation. They needed the guns more than 2G.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, hey, it's one of those things of the unstoppable force meets the immovable object in a certain way. It's just two unstoppable forces meeting each other. And so far, it just feels like the split-second decisions that have come through in 2G have been just a little bit better. There's been a couple of timing things, a couple of, again, blessings off of not being checked in towards covered corners, but in this round in particular, you're seeing the individual macro focus also coming through, understanding what All Knights are trying to do. And there's no pause here, straight on into the action. Whoa! Spikes just absolutely snaps on Sabando and sends him into map 2.
Oh, come on, that's a throw the mouse across the room type moment for Sabando. I mean, how frustrating is that? They want to re-push into this 2G, just baiting them in a contact re-clear that should go completely awry. 1 for 1.
What?
Oh, come on! This guy is unreal. How is he getting 2? How is he keeping this round even?
What game am I watching? We haven't seen Neon action like this in a long time, and wow, it's refreshing. But all told, we get to a 2v2. Mirror agents left on both sides, small health advantage, plus the ultimate advantage tilting for All Knights. Just comes down to, can they find a way to break open this post plant? As Silence will be allowed to plant for free. Aldrone catches one in the corner. This is going to be immediately countered with the Hunter's Fury behind it. Dancing with the Devil is prized, and he's done well to this point, and he's taken no damage from it. Neural Theft to follow. And now all of a sudden, it's the defense of the post plant that has a bit of favor. Prize on the corner, can't connect, and it's simultaneous eliminations for All Knights to get the retake.
Yeah, that just comes down to the duels. They simply weren't won by the remaining 2G players. Finally, the sign of life after a string of rounds the 2G were winning. And it just comes down to Dante bringing them back in the game with that 3K. I mean, come on, man. That is just ranked demon Neon activity. Post the Neon buff, like there were pro players that were playing Neon because they knew it would be good, and they were good on it. There was some cool movement here and there, but it's really the Neon mains that have just been grinding this agent out that are really pushing the movement to the limit. I have not seen anyone, I don't think, abuse the movement mechanics as much as Dante does.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. And it's, like I said, it's just refreshing. Oh, man, the speed of which VALORANT has moved literally over the last 3 months has been unbelievable. Sabando kicks us off with first blood here in round number 10, getting close to the first half coming to a conclusion. Little split focus on the map here, though, for 2G. Cybertrap in their way, Adverso responsible for a lot, and whoa, little shot through the corner nearly tags him, but it will keep his attention very much so primed and ready to go for this mid play if it does continue to happen.
Silence just trying to slip out of here via the cage obscuring the view of these top mid players. Will be able to successfully meet up with the rest of his team, who are getting a lot of free space towards A, towards elbow, but, I mean, All Knights, they're more than content just playing this for retake. Man advantage and the Rolling Thunder, that's gotta be enough to get their 4th on the board.
And this is where you just sit back and wait until you hear 2Game, use all their utility, and then you send yours back in their face. Although, very good discipline here from 2Game. They're really not spending a lot more. They still have a shock dart remaining, plus an aftershock, but there's the Rolling Thunder through. Opening trade decent. Spikes trying to get aggressive. Misses the first bit, but again, the challenge from the Neon, so difficult to deal with. 1v2, just down to Spike for 2Game. And the Spike itself is also a pressing issue as the time is ticking away. And once again, it's one of our Cyber players to pop off for 3 in the round. This time it's Tinchoff as AK get us back to within 2.
Yeah, they really play that by the books, and perfectly. In position as well, not just to play for the full retake, but just so ready to send out the Rolling Thunder on the Spike plant, deny it, get back in, then, flood when you get at least one guaranteed connection with that Breach ultimate. It's nicely played. And honestly, going back to what I said earlier about how dominant these teams have been on attack, 4 might be enough for All Knights on the side swap.
Now opening Hunter's Fury lands nicely. That's Prize able to open up things over towards A elbow, while simultaneously you've got a player actually push deep over towards this backside connector. Spike will be planted for free. Difficult decision here for All Knights in terms of how do you clear out all of this space. First bit of utilities tries to come through for Burst up, but he gets trapped up by a Relay Bolt, and now it's really just down to, can you hit a Paranoia of your life, your Sabando? Not going to get a chance to, as they lose another, and now you may just have to save.
Yeah, that was a really great response from 2G to realizing Adverso was tucked in that corner. When he sent out the fault line, he thought he would have an opportunity to even up 4v4 by killing LZ up top stunned, but instant response from 2G, multiple pieces of utility to just bog him down in that corner. They just act so fast, they're so decisive.
I think the thing about it is, again, after the Hunter's Fury, it's not just the fact that you win over one side of the site, you get deep into the other. It just, again, as soon as you drop somebody, how do you work your way back into the site? And the answer is just that you just don't get a chance for it. So yeah, good call on your side. And now it's down to what happens in our final moments of this first half, which, again, it's been very tight, all things told. Outside of the pistol and the follow-up, this has been about an even split between full buys.
I want to check in as well when we get back into this, what's going on with the ultimates. A lot of them were previously expended, but it's All Knights who've been stacking them up a bit. The overdrive from Dante in his hands is just as overpowered as an ult gets.
But in the face of full rifles, you really don't look at the ultimate advantage as being anything of major significance outside of the individual ability to possibly take over, like you mentioned. Opening flash and dash doesn't quite work out here in terms of the opening elbow play at A, but it does keep the defense of All Knights pretty planted around the A site. So now it's just down to how do they want to rotate around this, knowing there is a threat, and the answer is they're going to try to get aggressive through mid, see if they can kind of cut off this play.
Yeah, this is a nice take of mid, and it's going to allow All Knights to have multiple players fighting for B main post plant, that common positioning for the attackers to spam the spike. What, 3 players now going behind? They'll have to break this trip, but I mean, do 2G really expect all these players? Typically, it's only 1, maybe 2.
Oh, well, it doesn't make a difference when Zap is destroying everybody, but the overdrive is out and it almost takes down 3. Not fully the case, but it gives Sabando a chance. He knows that there's one player over towards main. Now it's just down to can he find spikes into the smoke? He does. 1v1, but Prize, a little blind fire through the smoke, connects, and it'll be an 8-4 half in favor of 2 game.
Yeah, nicely done at the very end there. And Zap, major credit, has had a couple high impact rounds in terms of just the individual kills, not lighting the world on fire, but that was very important to get the 2K right here. I mean, imagine if Dante just had one teammate to trade out on Prize. Like, all of a sudden, complexion of the round, that finish is totally different.
No, he just wins. I mean, flat out, it's a 1v1 on site. Sabando had the jump, so... Wow, what a half of Valorant. Can't say that lightly. 8-4 will be the count, and I mean, where is your reaction in terms of how these teams' identities, if they do change?
I mean, we are getting exactly what we expected and deserved from this game. Just the 2 most aggro teams in this tournament, bar none. Well, 2 of the sickest neons you'll get to watch right now. I mean, it feels like both of these guys are destined for, the partnership league at some point, right? They're just way too talented. And this is just the beginning of their careers for Spike, for Dante. Silence has been playing for a much longer time, hasn't really had a chance to make a name for himself, but at this tournament, it certainly has. When he picks up the Duelist, he just lights the world on fire too. His Jet the other day was just fantastic.
It's going to be a series, my friend. That's all we know. Okay. Flop the sides around. And again, just looking at the statistics, it's really as much as you look at 2Game Esports and say that this has been a great map for them in terms of their inter-region play. Of course, they lost to TSM most recently. This is definitely a map that statistically favors All Knights, but largely speaking, it has been, again, a moment of concern when you drop an OT game versus M80, then you have to go to overtime versus Valorant. So, I mean, you've got an opportunity here, I think, to kind of look at this from level footing. I think especially because of the identity that both these teams like to play it. And then you want to throw it an extra step further. The statistics in terms of which side is more favorable is the same for both teams. Both prefer to be on the offensive side. So this is where you would, again, like you mentioned, have to see All Knights possibly put together not just something similar as an 8-4 half, but they have the opportunity and ability to take over from this side just as much as we saw from 2Game.
Fast camp from Tinshoff broke straight away as All Knights are gathering up towards B main. Place one smoke just to obscure the vision of that common Cypher cam spot. But they're just on the rotate back to A right now. They're going to leave Tinshoff in mid, it looks like, for that late lurk.
A little bit of patience, but the proactivity from 2Game will see nothing at B main, and that might be all they need to know to quickly rotate over towards A. The problem is they will not be here in time to likely contest much, unless All Knights continue to play with a little bit of pause here towards the backside at Elbow. I mean, the spike is in this position, so they've gotten some good control of Elbow. The post plant's going to be set up largely for that same spot. Topical 1v1 between both of the Cyphers, traded out nicely, and we'll go 4v4.
Planted.
Yeah, super important that Tinshoff at least got their one, and credit to 2G for realizing it very well could be that 4-1 with the lurk proactivity from All Knights, but they don't catch the timing.
Yeah, Luis has seen it. So now it's just going to be forcing the issue for 2Game right down the mid connector. Trying to isolate in the corner, but the trades are still decent, leaving Nico by himself. 1v2 situation. First shots are decent. Has a read on the second, and Nico Machine provides a 1v2. Woo! Zippo clutch for the side of All Knights to catch the pistol.
That is nasty. A little quiet, but really comes to life in a crucial moment. All Knights, listen, they're only down by 3. This game is basically tied in my mind right now. They're going to be much better on the attack side, and there's no better way to start it out like that.
Wow. Loving it. I mean, it's been a minute since I've been on the mic for a Valorant match, and I'm so glad this is the one we get to kick off the day. Are you kidding me?
This is a fun one.
Yeesh.
If Nico Machine can step up, he's actually the player for me that I'm looking to step up for All Knights. Just comparing his level of play to where he was at regionally.
Sure.
He was genuinely, he was really struggling in some of those final games they were playing, especially against Rada. You know, looked to be a weak point in that series. If he's leveled up his play just a bit, could make a significant difference.
Yeah.
All Knights be main control.
Couple of sheriffs in play for 2Game. Don't sweat that, though, as Tinshoff on the back has cleared out most of this backside Boba play. It's going to leave both these defenders completely isolated. Spike's trying to do what he can, and relay bolt is actually really well done. He gets the isolation. Good trade back, but still it comes a bit of a cost as the spike is freely, for a moment, is freely getting it planted. A little bit of extra pressure established by the defense backside of the site has Adverso continuing to hop on and off this plant. They finally plant this safely. Recon bolt also down. Nico held into a corner, and whoa, what a peek that is. Sabado right there with him, and that will be the end of this 2G retake unless Silence can do something absolutely miraculous.
It's just about no way at this point. Easy cleanup for Adverso at the end. Tinshoff's creating all of that space, playing so deep down mid, getting into Boba, diverting the attention of the site anchors. It's going to be tough, of course, anyhow, with the bad buy, but just really ensuring that that could be a very clean hit onto the V site.
Goodbye.
I like it. Just in terms of, again, getting the Cypher deep. You talked about it from a couple of rounds ago where these Cyphers are getting active, my friends. It is not just sit back and wait for the rest of the team to fall around you. They are making plays. And that's why you're seeing the stat lines that you do for both the respective players. Paranoia just going to get pushed right through, and Dante obliterated the follow-up. Perfect from 2G's defense as the relay bolt locks the rest of AK back behind the set of boxes, and now they're left with a 5v3.
That's what you need to do on defense with this comp. Meet the attackers, especially in the mirror match. Meet the attackers at the choke. Shut them down with all of the stuns of your own. Put Dante in a really tough spot when he's trying to get in. It was well handled. And now Silence. Great anchoring so far. Takes a nice position back pillar.
And great trust here. He can hold off just a little while longer. Although the recon dart doesn't really quite get into sight, doesn't make a difference. Silence doesn't even need any more information. He'll just do it all himself. Catches a second, and then Luis will follow up to get the trade onto Nico. So 9-6 the count. And now again, this is where we start to really kind of turn our heads and raise an eyebrow, because ultimates are getting close to being earned. And of course, we still have full weapons on the same page here for both of our two teams. So these are the moments that I'm really looking at to say, if you win this map, it's likely because you won out in these full versus full rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be tough goings at this point for all Knights. Everything on the line here. Economy is dire.
Whoa. Again, aggressive setup here for both of our Neons. Both will be traded away. Prize able to confirm the defensive trade and then get back in towards site. Good separation to allow a chance for the defense to stay safe, not just over to the B site, but no rotations needed either. So they're going to stay 2-2 split on the defense with the sentry of the spy cam just watching mid.
Right here.
Now just playing a bit more silent, retaining this B main control. Just going for a bit of a peek as Nico machine while the teammates are more focused on mid, and Etron gets some decent information.
Spends the recon bolt though at the same time, and the camera at mid will be smoked out. That will actually force Silence to try to rotate back just a touch, and it pulls the focus of Luis defensively over towards the mid connector. Neural theft gets called out. That's from the offensive side. And now here we go. But oh, what a good counter fault line. Just as soon as the approach is about to come through, it stalls it out. The question will be, do they get Arena to Sabando, who's playing deep in towards Market? And the answer is they do not. So now all of a sudden you're trapped on site. Zap gets isolated, and it's just down to Luis for a 1v3.
Simon working through Market already. There's been that reposition. The main almost isolated a duel, but not able to do so. Nico Machine quick on the trade. That double face was good, and Sabando was ready to pick up that angle too, if necessary. This is getting really back and forth.
Yep.
Putting the economy in a tough position now for this next round for 2G. They're going to be fully bought into it, and a loss would break their economy totally.
Yep.
Oh, actually, they're just going to...
They may half this one out.
Yeah, they actually didn't even have enough on Spike or LZ. I thought that they would get just barely enough to scrape it by, but that's not the case. They're playing for the next.
And something to kind of keep a note in is the fact that All Knights didn't really show much pressure at mid, but it still took a lot of the focus away from 2G. So Market went completely uncovered just thanks to a little bit of smoke presence through mid. See if that continues to be the case, as All Knights, I'm sure, will recognize the financial situation for 2Game Esports. And they are just going to kind of snowball a little bit. Just a full look up towards mid to see if they can catch a bit of a firing squad as they rotate over to B.
And you know Spike is just ready to find a moment to use that overdrive. Ultimates through Market. Dante trying to get in, is just getting bogged down.
How? How is Prize still alive back here? Now all of a sudden Spikes is trying to get himself involved, but both the aforementioned defenders will drop. Still a chance though. Rolling Thunder gonna get called out offensively. That will completely push Silence off the site. Zap just trying to spam from the back as LZ tried to hit a bit of a pinch. Not gonna fully work out, and Silence not able to connect either. Leaves it just down to Zap with just a Guardian. This would be a 1v4, and he's been revealed. So you would think that there's probably not much more he could do from this position.
Yeah, that was very dangerous, honestly. I'm surprised All Knights were able to get away with so many players alive, and Verso cleans things up with ease. Spike was really on the verge of maybe cleaning up a couple kills there. The weaker player had just rounded the corner. That was close.
I think initially I'm just mind blown that Prize stays alive with the Bulldog inside a Market. He had been completely isolated. There's 100 Furies coming his way, and he lives through all of it. And even finds elimination. It kind of gives him maybe a lifeline for, I don't even know if it would be considered a full-on actual technical thrifty, but give him credit for it if they were able to pull it. But even though there was a little bit of trouble breaking into the site, All Knights very clean once they got their post plant. And now once again, a pivotal round here in round 18. Full purchases all around. You've got the overdrive for Dante. You've got the Rolling Thunder on the opposite side for Zap for the defensive 2-game. So will they default to just playing for retake off of that ultimate?
Very passive trip laid right now from Silence. You can see that all the way past top mid, just weary of those deep wraps with the neon for the B hits that All Knights do really like to go for, but it's just off the dark cover, a slow contact in, a bit unusual for them, mixing this in.
It just keeps the defense guessing a little while longer. Now finally this fight can be fine, but the Rolling Thunder is not here yet. So now there's going to have to be a decision for 2Game of how do you want to spend it, because you have the cam to make sure market stays clear, but you have to re-clear the site itself first. They haven't really been able to see the exit from All Knights at the moment. So here comes the play through market. All drones are out for both sides. There's the Rolling Thunder sent right across, and it's going to connect on almost everything. A chance now for 2Game to get on and maybe even put some pressure onto the spike, but it's just down to who can actually find eliminations and how about it. All the utility being thrown in towards the main doors at B main makes this a mess, but All Knights are hanging on. And hold on a second. How about the play from Nico into Sabando? They finish off with, I believe, at least the final 3, if not the final 4, and we got ourselves a 9-9 game.
Oh, that is wild. I thought All Knights were going to give that round away by being too stacked up in B main. The Rolling Thunder connected onto so many players. Little mistake from 2G. They had an opportunity to really get on the spike pressure earlier, but weren't even able to get it to half. No one was really prioritizing it. It just seemed like they wanted to get the kills, but in doing so, that means they have to push forward through the smoke, the dark cover that was laid in main, and it gets really tough for them. All tied up now, 9-9. Back and forth for a bit, but All Knights with a real opportunity to now just steal this game away. Economy is dire for 2Game as they're on this tack pause. Maybe trying to think of a trap play they could set up, or if they want to gamble stack on a site right now, and then planning the future round when they get their full buy.
Yeah, really neither team defensively has opted to play with much aggression when the barriers drop.
No.
Could be an opportunity to make a little bit more of a mess of the actual executes we're seeing from All Knights offensively, which, to be fair, there have been some moments that even though they're pulling out the round wins, the initial moments don't look as convincing as we had seen from 2Game's offensive effort. So maybe there is something in like, hey, even if we trade 1 for 1 in the first 10 seconds, that just limits the ability for All Knights to have these executes find as much success as they are, which, let's be honest, is been a bit limited at moments.
Definitely. They've been weary to fight for B main, but a really explosive trap play setup could just ruin All Knights.
Yeah.
Both teams are favoring that site so hard.
Well,
but right now it looks like All Knights, they just want to play a bit more passive, play a bit more of a default, and wait out the aggression out of the timeout, expecting that play to come, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this time it's as simple as just the preset smoke on the one-way coverage over towards the A corner, and it was a little slide out from Spike. Doesn't see anything, and now they're going to try it again. And this is 2G taking exactly what you said of, okay, we're not going to spend anything too early, but we know that these guys are holding back. Maybe we can catch them out of timing, especially through the L drone. Hunter's Fury going to be called out. Spike staying alive on the front side, but oh good, counter relay ball coming through, and that keeps the offense stable, and 5v5 we go.
Now slowly retaking control of main. They might catch LZ completely unaware, and they do. The Cypher ultimate as well. Neural Theft going to provide some good information. Spikes is trying to get insight to set up a crossfire with the speed.
Definitely doable, but remember, this is just a Stinger and 3 Sheriffs for the defensive side, and as they lose prize, now they also don't have the numbers to hold off this A site. So what can Zap do? Oh, first shot is brilliant, especially considering the movement boost, but wow, the follow-up from Adverso gets his 4th in the round onto Spikes right through the fast lane. So we have an opportunity here for Adverso to pull an ace and immediately get the Rolling Thunder back. Just down to, will they allow him a chance to do that? It looks like they are trying to set him up for it. And how about it? It's the ace for Adverso, and now he's got the Rolling Thunder going in around 20.
That is pretty wild to just get that available for the buy round. I mean, imagine what 2Game are thinking. They took that tack pause with intention of having something set up for this round, and now that just adds a whole new layer as far as what they're going to have to deal with. Lovely from Adverso, a name that, frankly, and I think a lot of people forgot about. You know, had a long tenure on Leviathan back in the day, 2 years ago. but it's looking really solid.
Yeah, well, all night. Well, this time a little bit caught off guard by the aggression. And how about the kill from the Aftershock as well? Spike will get 3. The Aftershock gets the 4th, and now it's just down to Sabando. And wow, okay, just like that, we do get some early action at the trap play over towards A. And it's 2G who come out on top, only dropping Zap in the process.
Yeah, when you're stuck in that choke trying to move forward, that's the second time that the attackers trying to get through there are just getting connected by all of the utility defensively is just connecting onto them because the space is just so small. The stuns are so powerful. You know, the Aftershock as well, finding that kill, it's just all too easy. That early A main pressure has been the crux now of 2-round wins for 2G on defense. Hasn't come easy to them though.
No. Well, once again, a little bit of passive being shown by All Knights. A lot of this had been seen by the spy cam early. Bit of an aggressive position here for Silence alongside Prize, who still has a full utility belt worth of action to pull if he needs to towards Market. The only question would be what happens here at mid, and as the offensive cyber cages get triggered, now the Rolling Thunder follows behind it, and this is all isolation over towards Market side. Silence gets out of there. Spike following up. It takes us to a 1v1 all of a sudden inside of Market, and Tinchoff able to catch the first, but Silence still in play. Responds back, more in front of him. Silence for 2, and Luis around the corner, just down to Nico. 1v2, trying to dance, but he has been stunned. He's about to be flashed, and there is not enough action for Nico to pull that one back.
LZ found a great timing on that flank. They're coming from B main. It's just the responses from both teams are so fast. You just don't see this kind of play too often. Look at Spikes right now. Just in immediately to trade. That was a great setup from All Knights to take Market as well. That pressure applied, the Rolling Thunder came in. There was so much disarray caused in mid by the cages going down, the smoke going down, that dark cover at top. That is really nicely played. And of course, I mean, Zap is just always keeping the energy up for these guys. A new team to tournaments with this, you know, kind of level of prestige and importance for the careers, but they have in no way succumbed to the pressure. They are like such a positive, hyped up team to watch.
So another tac pause will come through for All Knights, who now find themselves backed into a bit of a corner with the Rolling Thunder being expended in that most recent round. All of a sudden you start to look at, oh shoot, now we just got to do this the hard way. Not a lot of game-changing ultimates left available for them, and they're going to be in a little bit of a financial situation, you would think as well, considering how things have gone over the last couple. Maybe enough to put together one more buy here, but it's going to be stressful here in these last couple of rounds to try to get this thing maybe even to overtime situations for both these two teams.
Yeah, 100%. 2G have just been clawing for these rounds. It's been a really competent defense half so far. You know, they don't need a ton of rounds, but they are on the less. Yeah, they're on the less favored side, though. You know, and they've already done a pretty nice job with these quick responses.
Again, stressful round here for All Knights. They do have a Hunter's Fury in supply with 4 rifles, but there are light armors involved, and an overdrive on the other side for Spike if he finds himself in the mix. Very passive owl drone just being spent. No other information gathering tools out for All Knights at the moment, so it's just down to what they can see, and they will at least catch that. Yep, Silence is playing inside of the site. May allow them a little bit of an extended look in towards mid here just due to that intel.
Now that dark cover is coming down top right of mid to feign that someone could be walking up, trying to flank through Boba. And you can see that Silence has to peel off. Look at the angle he's covering now.
Oh, there's the issue, though. Do All Knights expect this double stack to be here on the box? There's the high-low, and ooh. For a moment there, you thought maybe Nico was going to get both. Lots of damage towards Zap, pushes him off the angle, and All Knights are going to try to force the issue here. 45 seconds on the clock, and they still have a trap wire to get through. Lots of information off the shots coming out, so 2G will know that there is a threat here at mid pretty imminently.
This is a good setup for 2G to deny, but right in Silence faces Dante goes down, and in the meantime, Zap sent out this vault line to just stop to jump. Trying to trade, does it a bit delayed, but immediate swing from Zap.
Sabando, though, gets caught on the teleport, and 2G will get to map point, and there will be next to no economy to really play with here for All Knights. It's going to look even worse than it did last round.
They really tried to brute force this mid push All Knights, and after this moment, simple, but so effective was this setup between Zap and Silence. Silence is just taking contact there, and as soon as he does, the fault line comes in from Zap. Connects onto Tinchoff, denies that.
It is done.
You know, and perhaps a faster trade that could have came in that would have allowed Spike to be alive if he could have swung.
Well, here we go. This Hunter's Fury needs to find value for All Knights. Dire economical straits. Even if they win this round, if it's not convincing, they're going to be on a very similar buy, depending on who survives. So a tall ask here to get 2 in a row for All Knights. Overdrive out. Defense playing through mid. Fast lane allows some isolation over towards Tiles. Pinch off in the corner, not able to deal with it. And it's first blood for Spikes. Other side of things, though. B site now being threatened. And there is some forward motion here. Dante right up next to the Cyber Cage. Able to fully pull it back, but Spikes is ripping everything apart inside the site, or is he? Dante for 3. Prize responds to 2 of his own. Now it's just down to the 1v1. Sabando versus Prize. Shot lands, and 2G will take map 1.
Excellent defense from 2G, playing it a lot more proactively than we saw All Knights. Those early fights on A to deny just the entire team of All Knights pressing forward were so good. And then on B, it was just the time of the responses they had were so nice, always catching All Knights in those transitional moments rather than opting for full set retakes. They were just applying that early pressure. It worked out so well.
What a reaction from Silence, though, at the end to catch out the slide, find the elimination. Makes things a little bit more difficult for the offense to hold on. It's a 1v1 moment. Both players, I would say, that was about as 50 as a 1v1 could get, but it does go the way of 2G. Keep in mind, that was All Knights map selection. It has been good for them in the past, but not here. So now they got to find a way to go to Abyss next and steal it away from 2G to put themselves into a more convincing spot towards possibly getting to the Ascension playoffs. We'll be back after this. Don't go far. We'll be right back.